Mike, what's kind of maybe one or two things offensively that you guys have to do better against this style of defense versus what you were able to hunt against the Lakers?
I think it's got to be a little bit more. The extension of our plays have to last a little longer. Like, it's not going to be a one-pass shot opportunity. They do a really good job of running you off the three-point line. I think that's an emphasis for them. So what we have to do now is, guy gets in the corner, they close out, drive. One more play has to be made. Maybe another play has to be made. We just talked about plays going from good to great, in practice the last day. So that's what we have to do. Cut down on turnovers. I think you take advantage of what you can get against a good defense. We get the transition opportunity. We have to finish. We have to finish at the rim. And frankly, knock down open shots when we get them. So I think if we can do those things, we can have a better chance of winning.
Why do you think offensive droughts last longer for all teams in the playoffs?
Every team is different. Every game is different. A lot of things you emphasize during a game can get in the way of what you're trying to do offensively. Sometimes you're worried about coverages, you're worried about schemes, and trying to think too much. And I think some teams can fall into that, and it's happening around the league. It happens to us, it happens to everybody, but it's about those teams that can limit the amount of times it happens or how long it happens.
Like, how high is the confidence level, everything you just laid out? How high is the confidence level that all that will come to fruition tonight?
I'm very confident. I think, after our last loss, I talked to you about how Finchie approaches the film sessions and practices and how he challenges every single guy. Like, nobody's exempt from that, and guys respond. I'm pretty sure we'll respond with, our attention to detail and our effort. Looking forward to tonight.
Obviously Steph is out. Sometimes this team tends to relax a little bit if a star player is out from another team. Is that something you guys have addressed, talked about in terms of the urgency that you need to come out with, even with Steph out tonight?
Yeah, some we're aware of. For whatever reason that is, we have to try to keep the chip, that we've had on our shoulder for the majority of our, time together. And it's, where that starts with myself and Julius, whoever it may be. Like, just because their main guy goes down does not mean that you have a better chance of winning. It's going to open up the floodgates for their whole, array of players to now be more aggressive and change the way you cover the thing. So we have to keep our minds locked in and focused. Like I said, play with that edge, and regardless of who they play out there, they'll play a lot of guys. We have to be ready.
This team is always ball pressure, and perimeter ball pressure has been such a big asset for you guys. When a team plays through like a big man hub, like a Draymond on the top of the floor or something, how do you, usually the guy guarding him is not used to applying much pressure, what is the challenge of making sure that you're not letting them get into their actions with relative ease?
Yeah, that's a challenge, especially depending on who you have on that big, whoever you have on Draymond, whoever's initiating the offense. They're not used to, having to deny the ball or, pressure them, trying to make the passes tougher, which we need, especially with their off-ball movement and cutting and ability to get to the rim off of those. So it's a challenge that we've given our bigs. It's a challenge we've given everybody in those situations to just be super aggressive, super locked in on that side, and try to create as much havoc as you can, and just pressure the ball when you can.
What have you made of the playoffs as a whole in the second round, particularly those two East series? Are you tuning in as a fan, or are you tuning in because you have relationships with different guys and different teams? Obviously it's been pretty compelling.
Yeah, it's been one of the more interesting playoffs I've seen since I've been in the league. All around the league, you never know what you're going to get one night from another. And I watched the Knicks-Celtics game last night and the one before that. They're both crazy. The Denver-OKC game was crazy. Cavs-Pacers, you can go down the list. This is amazing basketball being played, and you're seeing a bunch of situational things in each game. Teams up 20, down 1. Do we foul? Do we not? You're seeing every situation kind of pop up, and kind of the guts of the game, and it's pretty impressive and fun to watch.
A lot of guys have credited you of being more of like that vocal leader, the sage wisdom. What's kind of your role in making sure that this team starts off on the right foot tonight with energy and pace?
Well, it's just, trying to be the guy to get our minds in the right place, for one. Like we talked about earlier, not taking any team for granted, regardless of who they have on their team, who's out, who's in. it's a big part of how we start tonight's game. Can we, not look up there and not see Steph and be like, okay, we still have to go. We still have to figure this out. They're going to give us everything they got. Let's be aggressive, let's be assertive, and go out there and win the game. And, I'm going to do whatever I can to do that. Make sure our guys are playing at a high level and confident in what we do, and see if we can go get one.
With the level of detail they play with on both ends of the court, do you find yourself having to coach a little more on the court against a team like this?
Yeah, it does require a lot of thinking. They have some of the more high IQ, guys on that side of the basketball on both ends of the floor. There's times where you think a guy's open and Jimmy's playing between two of them, or Draymond's baiting you into a pass, and you're having to think past that. You have to say, okay, I know he's going to try to steal this. Let me try to find the corner guy, or vice versa. So you got to be really willing to take your time a little bit, like really digest what's going on. And I'm kind of at the head of that, trying to direct everybody in every single situation and keep us from making mistakes when we don't need to.